All right, let's talk about something that trips up so many founders. You've got this brilliant idea for an AI tool, but how do you get seasoned pros, the real experts, to actually use it? And even more, to trust it? That's the real challenge, right? Today, we're going to break down the playbook for doing just that, and we're diving deep into the world of procurement.
So here it is, the big question. How do you build an AI that procurement experts will actually trust? I mean, this is a field built on deep expertise, on relationships, on managing massive risks. You can't just toss some generic AI at them and hope for the best. The whole game is about creating something that's not a mysterious black box, but more like a super smart, totally reliable assistant. Honestly, everything we're about to go through, it all comes down to getting this one thing right. And this right here is your North Star. If you remember one thing from this whole discussion, make it this: AI recommends, humans decide. Your job isn't to replace the expert, it's to give them superpowers. Every single feature, every design choice has to flow from this idea. We're building a copilot, not some autonomous pilot that nobody's going to trust to fly the plane.
Okay, so where do we start? Well, just like building a house, it all begins with the foundation. And trust me, rushing this part is the #1 reason these kinds of AI projects just completely fail. So let's really nail this.
Look, it's so easy to fall into this trap. You think, I'm going to build a revolutionary AI sourcing platform. It sounds huge, it sounds impressive, and it's almost always a recipe for disaster. Why? Because that's not a problem. It's just a vague idea. Real success starts when you zoom in, not out. You've got to find one single, incredibly painful problem to solve. Just look at the difference here. Build an AI sourcing platform. What does that even mean? It gives your team zero direction. But what about this? Sourcing teams are wasting 20 hours a week manually trying to compare quotes, and it's delaying our most critical projects. See, now that's a problem. That's something you can build an AI for. It becomes your laser-focused mission. And here are some classic pain points. I bet some of these will sound familiar. You know, that endless, soul-crushing search for good suppliers, or the copy-paste nightmare of putting together RFQs. How about trying to compare quotes that are in 10 different formats and you're trying to figure out the total value, not just the cheapest price? Pick one of those. Seriously, just one. That's where you start. And this table really shows that Copilot idea in action. Notice the AI isn't doing the whole job. It's not finding the final supplier. It's suggesting a short, high-quality list for the human to look over. It's not writing the final RFQ. It's auto-drafting a really smart first version. The AI is doing all the tedious, heavy lifting, which frees up the human expert to do what they do best: make strategic decisions. Okay, foundation is solid. Now we can actually start building. But remember, the goal here isn't just to crank out a bunch of features. We are systematically, piece by piece, building trust. This whole phase is about taking that problem we identified and turning it into a real, tangible tool that your users can trust. And guess what? You do not need a giant, expensive engineering team to get started. Especially if you're a non-tech founder. This right here is your secret weapon. Using no-code or low-code tools means you can build a working prototype, your MVP or minimum viable product, super fast and without breaking the bank. The point isn't to build the final, perfect version. It's to get something real in front of users and see if you're on the right track, like now. Now, when you're building that first version, you have to be absolutely ruthless with your priorities. Your MVP should do one thing and do it incredibly well. All you need is a way for the user to put in their request, a screen that shows the AI's analysis, and a button to get that information out. Seriously, that's it. Everything else is just a distraction. I mean, sure, integrating with a company's giant ERP system sounds impressive, right? But do you need it to prove your idea works? No way. All those nice-to-haves can wait. At this stage, focus is everything. And this is a really, really important point. A generic AI is pretty much useless for this. The same AI that can write a funny poem about cats is not the AI that's going to understand the insane complexity of a sourcing contract. For your AI to be even remotely useful, it needs to go to school and get a degree in procurement. So what's on the curriculum? Real-world stuff. You feed it past RFQs, data on your suppliers, all the specific logic for different categories. And here's the best part. You don't need a Google-sized mountain of data. The research shows that even just 50 to 100 real-world examples can be enough to create a surprisingly smart and context-aware AI. It literally learns from what worked in the past to make better suggestions for the future. Okay, so you've got a working MVP. It's smart, it's fast, but do people trust it? This is the exact spot where so many AI tools for professionals just completely fall on their face. You can't just hope for trust. You have to design for it right from the very start.
And here's the playbook for that. First, your AI has to explain itself. It can't just say pick this one. It has to say why. Second, the user needs total control. They have to be able to edit, change, or completely override anything the AI comes up with. And finally, you need things like audit trails and approval steps. This bakes human accountability right into the system. See? It's not about replacing their judgment. It's about making their judgment better informed.
Let's zoom in on that audit trail idea for a second, because it's so important. Think of it as your get-out-of-jail-free card when it comes to compliance. It is the rock-solid proof that a real, qualified human being looked at what the AI suggested and made the final call. In a field like procurement, that's not just a nice feature to have, it's an absolute must. All right, once you've built those trust features into the core of your product, now you can start thinking about getting it out there. But please do not do a big, splashy public launch. That's the wrong move. The whole point of this next phase is to learn and improve side by side with your very first customers.
So what does that look like? A small, controlled private beta. Find maybe 3 to 5 companies who are friendly and who really feel the pain you're solving. Start by focusing on just one single category to keep things simple. And this is non-negotiable. The founder needs to be doing the demos and the onboarding personally. That direct, unfiltered feedback you get, it's worth more than any fancy marketing campaign you could ever run.
Oh, and one more thing. Charge for it. Yes, right from the start. Even if it's just a small amount. The goal right now isn't to get rich, it's to get validation. When someone is willing to pull out their credit card and pay you, even $100 a month, that is the ultimate proof that you've actually built something valuable. Now, as you start talking to more and more customers, you have to make a huge mental shift. I'm telling you, professionals, especially in a practical field like procurement, are so tired of the AI hype. They don't care about buying AI. Just look at the difference here. Nobody wakes up in the morning wanting to buy AI. That's a feature. What they want is to make faster sourcing decisions with less risk. That's an outcome. That's the solution to their headache. So always sell the outcome. You're selling speed. You're selling confidence. You're selling safety. The AI is just the engine that makes it happen. So let's pull all these threads together. Everything we've talked about, from finding that first hyper-specific problem to building your MVP, all the way to how you talk about it, it's all driven by one single powerful idea. And this is it. This is the whole thing in a nutshell. You are not trying to build an autonomous controller that takes over someone's job. You are building a trusted copilot that assists them. Your goal is to elevate the human expert, to make them faster, smarter, and more confident in their decisions. It's all about the partnership between the human and the AI. And really, this final thought says it all perfectly. The best AI tools don't actually make the sourcing decisions. They just make those decisions easier, faster, and a whole lot safer. The true test isn't how smart your AI is. It's how useful it is. It's about empowering people to be better at their jobs. If you build for that, you'll build something that people will actually love and use.